Augusta County Clerk of Courts candidate Steve Landis held a press conference today outlining his goals and plans for the clerk's office if Augusta County voters elect him to the office of Clerk of Courts on November 5th of this year. The 9-point plan includes continuing to obtain grants through the Library of Virginia and other sources to preserve historical records of Augusta County which date back to 1745 and making them more accessible to the public through digitization, and investigating the possibility of offering plastic versions of concealed weapons permits, which are currently issued in the paper form by the Augusta County Circuit Court Clerk's office.
I'm a concealed weapons permit holder, and I got my card laminated. The plastic, I think, would make it easier for folks. One of the things that we would look at, but again, you have to look at the cost to associate with this. Producing a paper card obviously is not as expensive, but clerks around the state are moving towards this. Some are looking at actually putting the photo ID on it in addition to just having the card. The reason for that is, if you know anything about the state code, to have a concealed weapons permit, if it's asked to be produced by law enforcement or somebody, you have to have a photo ID with it for it to be valid.
Landis also wants to investigate the possibility of offering U.S. passports in the clerk's office like neighboring Rockingham County does.
When I talk to folks, that has been one thing that they said, if the clerk could do that, that would be great, because right now the only place in Augusta County you can get a passport is making an appointment at the post office, and that's okay, but I think a lot of folks realize that passports are becoming even more important from the standpoint of not just international travel, but just being able to get your real ID and all sorts of other things. So it's become more of an issue than it probably was in the past, because it's not just international travel that the passports are being utilized for now. I know my wife and I just got ours not too long ago, and unfortunately we had to go up to Rockingham County to do it. We couldn't, in fact, part of the problem with, I think, the post office is they get kind of a backlog too, because there's only one location. So, but there's got to be a way to do that in a way that can't be just an additional burden on the staff. And there's some requirements that the federal government has if you're going to offer passports. And I think that was some of the challenges that Carol found, that it just, from a workload standpoint, was very difficult.
If elected, Landis wants to form an Augusta County Clerk of Circuit Court Advisory Committee that will provide advice to the clerk on various issues, and whose members will be made up of various people from the Augusta County Bar Association, the Greater Augusta Association of Realtors, the Augusta County Historical Society, and the Augusta County Genealogical Society, as well as several citizens. Landis currently represents Virginia's 25th House District in the Virginia General Assembly, but is not seeking re-election to that seat, which he has held for over 2 decades. Landis said one of the most important parts of his 9-point plan is to serve as a working clerk of court.
First and foremost is the first bullet point, and that is to serve as a working clerk. None of us that are running have ever served in the office. Nobody has worked within that office. I think it's incumbent upon any of us to want to really learn what the job is and how to work in that job. And more importantly, also what the staff does in their jobs. And I think the only way to do that is to shadow. I've talked to other folks who've been clerk in other parts of the state. They said, and there have been a number of people that have come from the outside that have been elected clerk across the state, people I know very well. And they all suggested that's something first and foremost you need to do.
Landis faces 3 opponents in the race for Clerk of Courts. All 3 are independents, while Landis is the Republican Party candidate. Those 3 independents are current Commonwealth's Attorney's Office paralegal Kathy Griffin, the Director of Valley ASAP, Miles Bobbitt, and Augusta County Supervisor Carolyn Bragg. From the Augusta County Government Center in Verona, Virginia, Theodore Whitelow, Breaking Through News.